Hey, it's me. There's never been a story like the Pia Zadora story. Her stage career began at age 7. She's been featured in major motion pictures, received many awards, and has won over the hearts of many people through her music. Pia Zadora is a performing and recording artist in several genres, and it is my great honor to welcome her here. Thanks so much for joining us.
Paul, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my honor. So you're the second person that I know of to come on this show from originally Hoboken, New Jersey.
Yes, I was born in Hoboken, but I only lived there for a year, so I really didn't get a sense of Hoboken. But I am from Hoboken. And then we moved to Brooklyn. We moved to Forest Hills Gardens. My old house that I grew up in is on sale now in Forest Hills Gardens. Someone sent me the link to it. I'm like, it was in Middle May Circle. And then we moved to the city because my dad was he was a concert violinist and Broadway violinist, and we were working all the time, so we moved to the city. But yes, Hoboken was where I was born.
Your parents were great lovers of music.
My father, he was a violinist, and my mother actually was a singer before I was born. And they were very much my father was more classical, and then he became Broadway-oriented. But yeah, they loved music.
And so they were always very supportive of you in terms of you pursuing show business.
Well, my mother was the one who really pushed me into it because I was shy. I was a shy little girl going to a parochial school in Forest Hills, and the nuns thought that I was socially inept. So I went to American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and Burgess Meredith was looking for a little girl to co-star in a Broadway play with Tallulah Bankhead, and he was scouting. And he came and saw me and asked me to audition and cast me. And after that, I started working on a regular basis. I got good reviews, and agents called me, but I was traveling a lot. My dad didn't like the fact that I was out of the house a lot. We were on the road for months at a time, and he wanted me to have a more normal life, and he wanted my mother and myself to be there, and we weren't there all the time. So there was a little bit of a conflict.
And what part of the country do you live in now? Tell us about Las Vegas.
Right now, I'm living in Las Vegas. And for me, it's the best of both. I married a cop on Las Vegas Metro. Was living in LA, came to Vegas because my ex-husband had a hotel here, came to Vegas for my son's birthday, and I had a stalker. And my attorney said, you need to go to the police and file a report. And I did, and it came across Michael Jeffrey's desk, who was the detective for all the strip cases of domestic violence and sexual assault and all that stuff. And he looked at the paperwork and said, Jesus Christ, some idiot named their kid Pia Zadora. Then he looked again and goes, oh my God, this could be her. So he called me and asked me a few questions about the case. And we ended up meeting 2 years later, and we got engaged. And in LA with me for a while. He went to the sheriff's department, transferred there. But he wanted to come back on Metro at a certain point, and so we moved here. And for me, it's great because I get to do what I love to do. There's really no nightclub scene in LA or anything like that. So I'm back really where my roots are because I kind of started out here in my club career, my singing career.
I have to confess, I received a lot of coaching to do this interview with a man named Johnny Pizza. And he was telling me about this place, Piero's, where there's a place there, Pia's Place, where you perform.
Right.
He described it as a throwback to the classic Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's a place where you would expect Frank Sinatra to walk in. They shot Casino there. It's very, very old school. I kid about it, but it's very, very old school, and it's very vintage. And it is throwback. I mean, it's a place where you can go and you listen to music and have a few drinks, and don't check your phone every 3 minutes. See what else is going on, and that's why people love it. It's a local hangout, a local spot, and tourists that come in. It's a very small, cool little place. It keeps me busy every single weekend, except for summers. And we do Friday and Saturday. And I'm always changing, doing new set lists, adding. And Sonny Charles is with me. He's my guest now. I don't know if you remember him from Checkmates Limited and Steve Miller Band. And he had that big hit song with Phil Spector, Black Pearl. And he's just so much fun. Adore having him. And we just have a party every weekend. That's what we do. And I have Joe Lano, who was with Ella and Frank. He was my guitarist. We had Vinnie Falcone, but unfortunately, he passed away last year from a brain tumor. Now, Vinnie Falcone was Frank Sinatra's musical director, who did my Pia and Phil album, all those original albums. So, we just keep the legend going. And Steve Lawrence comes in, and Jack Jones comes in, and current people and sports people come in, and Don King comes in, and the mayor comes in, and the DA comes in. It's just a very cool, high-level hangout.
This is probably a difficult question, but when you're performing there at Pia's Place, is there a song that you would say is your song? The song that resonates the most?
Yeah, it depends on what audience some audiences, if they're gay, if there's a group of gay guys there and they're my favorite audiences and they love me, I Am What I Am would be my signature song. For others, it would be maybe For Once in My Life, or maybe This Time, those songs.
A moment ago, you mentioned this album, Pia and Phil, and I had a chance to listen to it. It's really just a breathtaking album. What was it like to perform with an orchestra?
At first it was overwhelming because it was just so magnificent. And it's like, wait, I can't sing with these guys. They're too much. And I just fell into it. And it brought me to a new level, and it reestablished my career after all the movie, controversy and all that crap. And the bad movies that I did, the few bad movies. I mean, there are a couple good ones. Naked Gun 33 1/3 was fun. Hairspray was fun. And I still show those clips. I show clips in my show, and people want to see, and they remember. That's part of the whole fun deal of it. But it was great, and I toured the country with symphonies, and then Frank asked me to tour with him, and I toured with Frank and Don, and did all the songs with Nelson Riddle, and Don Costa did arrangements for me because of Frank. It just was a very, very positive experience for me in my musical career. Because remember, I used to do rock. I was nominated in '85 for Grammy for Best Female Rock Singer. Unfortunately, I lost to Tina Turner. That's her problem. I still have my Golden Globe. As much as they tried to take it away from me, it's still on my desk. It's so funny because, a couple weeks ago were the Golden Globes, and Oprah makes a speech and they want her to be president. And when I got mine 35 years ago, I made a speech and they tried to take back my trophy. It's a joke. You're supposed to laugh. But yeah, it's weird how things just come around and change and all that stuff.
I wanted to talk about this album that you have coming out in February. Tell us a little bit about this.
It's with the Joe Lano Trio. It's like a smooth jazz, cool, edgy, contemporary version of songs like All of Me, Witchcraft. It would be something that you could pick up Piatini, which is my signature drink, at Pia's Place. And you have a little cocktail party, listen to the music in the background, and just be able to chill. It's very chill, as opposed to Pia and Phil, which is like, okay, we're going to grab them by the you-know-what. But this is a very chill, kind of cool, edgy, smooth jazz album. Joe did a lot of the arrangements, and it's very simple and sweet, and not sweet. Well, maybe sweet sometimes, but it's very cool.
So what goes into a piatini?
2 olives, onion in the middle, no splash of water, because splash of water is how I got arrested. I need a drummer when I talk to you. He's got to go, ba-dum-bum. It's just like a dry martini. It's kind of my signature drink there, and it's the all-purpose drink. The all-purpose drink in the sense that in flu season, it kills germs, and around the house, it makes doing the housework a lot more fun. It's just a martini, really. Extra dry martini. That's it.
I'm hoping you can tell the listeners your memories of the Rickles, Rickless, and Reckless tour.
You just renamed it?
Well, that's what I was told it was called.
Really? Huh. Barbara Sinatra must have called it that.
What are your memories of that tour?
Oh, it was, we went from venue to venue. My memories were backstage, trays of Jack Daniels, Don sweating with his towel, going, oh my God, are they going to like me? Are they going to like me? And Frank always in his little bubble. Every night he'd come out, and before I'd go on, he'd take me by the hands and give me a 3-word pep talk. He'd say, don't screw up. So he was very paternal. And it actually taught me not to screw up. And then, we would go do your show. I actually replaced Liza in that tour because she wasn't well and she had to back out. And Frank said, could you come in and replace her? So I was the girl of the tour. And at the very end, we'd come on stage in these huge venues, thousands of people, take our bows, and then basically walk off the stage, get into the limo, get into the private plane with a police escort, and go to the next city, go to sleep, get up, go for the sound check, and, do the same thing. But we'd go to great restaurants, we'd have fun, and it was a great learning experience. I would sit and listen to Frank in my dressing room every night before and after I would go on, and listen to him on the PA and just hear the things that he would do with his music and his songs and his banter. And it just kind of rubbed off on me. And that's kind of what I'm doing now, or trying to do. I mean,
What would you say it is that you learned from Frank Sinatra?
To eat pasta, a lot of pasta. I learned, he was all about work ethic. That was what was so brilliant about him. At dinner, he was cool and everything, still not very much of a people person, but he was very, very, very centered before he'd go on stage. And he wanted everything perfect. He wanted the perfect experience for his audience. And also the interpretation of the songs, which he would tell me. Now, at that time, I was the baby of the Rat Pack. I didn't really understand the music as I should have because I didn't have the maturity. The Man That Got Away, I sang that at Radio City Music Hall, the Night of 100 Stars. That still sort of is one of them. But I didn't get it because, I was, 30-something years old and this little bubblehead and hadn't had really much life experience. But now, I'm understanding the songs a lot better and able to interpret them a lot better because I've had the experience. And that's about it for that.
What misconceptions do you think people have about Las Vegas?
I think most people think that it's just all about the Strip and tourism. And now with all these teams coming here, the Golden Knights and the Raiders, and everyone is moving here, and it's becoming a really interesting, very well-developed community. And there's so many beautiful places off the Strip where you can live and have a normal life. And it really has nothing to do with the Strip. But if you want to go to the Strip, you want to go to a great restaurant, or you want to go see a great show, it's 25 minutes. So that's the beauty of it, and the mountains and the weather. I think the other misconception is that it's always hot, and it's not. It actually snows here. It actually gets cold in the winter. The first year we were here, I opened the door to let the dogs out in the morning, and I'm like, holy crap, am I in Aspen or Las Vegas? There was snow all over the place. I pull out all my, warm winter thermal stuff because it gets cold. In the summer, it's hot as hell. But at least you have the seasons here. And that's a misconception. Most people just think it's always hot. It's not. LA is always one. It's always just, 70s, 80s. But here you actually have seasons.
And what about you? What do you think the misconception about Pia Zadora is?
Oh, I could care less. What people think, I am who I am. There are always misconceptions about people that are, up there in front of the public and have had very diverse, crazy, strange careers like I've had, and controversial careers, and been married to a wealthy man and all that crap. But hey, I am what I am. Well, wait, that's now my signature. I'm a person just like everybody else, and I do things just like everybody else, and I have anxiety and stress, and I don't have the world at my fingertips. But maybe that's the misconception, that people think that I just, have the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow. Wait, I haven't vocalized. I can see. But yeah, I don't know that I was created by this person that I married, which was completely untrue because I didn't marry when I was 7 and I started my career when I was 7. So I had a very skewed life, but a very interesting life. I mean, I posed for Penthouse in Las Vegas Metro.
That's a good one.
A centerfold and a mugshot. I will pause for a moment while guys get out their phones and look up the pictures, but not the mugshot. You have to have a sense of, it's only life. It's only freaking life. Sorry, can you say frick on your show?
You can say freak.
Frick.
You can.
Okay, good.
I was hoping, well, first of all, that was a great answer. And second of all, I thought, wouldn't it be something if she sang in the interview? And you did.
There.
Great.
I passed. I passed the test. I passed the Paul test.
In addition to your career as a singer and actor, you had the chance to be on a lot of television shows, like Johnny Carson. I watched the interview that you did with David Letterman, which was also mentioned in the recent biography about David Letterman.
Seriously, he mentioned it in the biography?
It is mentioned, yes. The Pia Zadora interview is mentioned in, I think the book is called The King of Late Night. And I'm hoping you can tell us about some of your memorable talk show appearances.
Okay, well, after I won the Golden Globe and there was all that controversy, people were joking about me. And Johnny Carson, there was a Polish woman, and by the way, I'm half Polish and half Italian, so I fall into that category. In fact, Frank used to kid me all the time. He would say that I'm Italian from the neck down, Polish from the neck up, and then he would make me an offer that I couldn't refuse or understand. That became like a going thing between us. But do you remember Rula Lenska? There was a woman that did a commercial, and she had a very thick accent. And so he made fun of her a lot. So then when I won the Golden Globe, and Pia Zadora, strange name, all that kind of stuff, and where'd she come from, and the rich husband, I became his answer to Rula Lenska. So he would kid about me all the time. Oh, well, if Pia Zadora, that kind of stuff. And so then finally, when I started singing, doing the standards, he asked me on the show. And he apologized to me. He says, people were... I opened at the Beverly Theater, and Leonard Feather, who was like the most respected music critic in Los Angeles, came to see me. And of course, I was shaking in my boots. And Cary Grant and Diane Cannon, a whole bunch of celebs were there. And Leonard Feather just gave me the most glowing review of my lifetime. Said, screw everybody. She can sing. Her intonation, her this, her that. And I got like 5 standing ovations. And so that review was basically what Johnny read on the air. Wow, how do you feel? How do you feel? And I'm like, okay, well, so that was a great, vindication for me. And I hung in there. I worked to turn everything around. I had to sing. My movies were, crap, I had to sing. I had to show them that I could actually do something. And the something, I think it was way more impressive because of the fact that I was Pia Zadora. But it is a great album. Pia and Phil is a great album because of the Philharmonic and because of, all the great people that wrote and did all this stuff. But then I did Mike Douglas and Merv Griffin and, all this shit. And Hollywood Square is one of my favorite. And with Rich Little, who appears with me now here in, he's actually at the Tropicana. And I kind of go over there and he comes over to me on his night off and we do shtick together because we've known each other forever, ever, ever. And did shows in Ohio, like Promises, Promises. Before I even met my husband, I was doing shows when I was a teenager with Rich Little. And when he was just, up and coming. The talk shows, but my favorite show was, remember Candid Camera?
Oh, yeah.
Alan Funt.
Yeah.
We did a thing where they dressed me up so you couldn't really recognize me. And there was this little strip mall in LA, outside of Hollywood. And they would put notes on these people's cars saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I messed up your car, but don't worry. It's nobody's fault because we have no fault insurance." So these people would come out and they'd be so upset looking at their cars and looking around. And then I would come out and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry," like a bimbo. "Oh, really? It's no fault. It's not your fault. It's not my fault." And they would get all crazy. And they'd be searching their car for a little thing. And finally Alan would come. He says, "This is Candid Camera. It's Pia Zadora." And Alan fun. And so that was the most fun because I love sight gags. And also Naked Gun 33 and a Third was the most fun because Leslie Nielsen, OJ, of course. He and I are both here in Vegas. The only problem is the only good thing is I can travel. We did Naked Gun together. We ended up in Vegas. But for TV shows, it was like Letterman, he would always prod and probe on the Pia Zadora thing. So when I got up, I don't know what he wrote in his book because this is the first I know that I was in the book. But when I got up there, I threw away his cue cards. He was looking at his cue cards, and I'm like, "Give me this, David." And I threw it up on the floor. I still have a copy of the interview. And he was a little perturbed, to say the least. But hey, I wasn't happy with him either, and I was Pia Zadora, so what? But all those were fun. I mean, those were fun days, and everybody, we just did what we did, and we got through what we got through, and here we are. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, that we're okay. I have 3 great kids. My youngest lives with me now. He just started at UNLV. He's a freshman, and he has some special needs, some learning issues. He's on the spectrum. But, that's why I took 15 years off to really deal with his stuff, and he's just come out of it like a gem. And he's doing great, and I'm still there every day for him, taking him to his school, doing all that, and doing my thing at night. And my husband now, he's retired. He's a retired cop. He's a great guy and helps with everything. He does some work on the side and plays golf. And we have a beautiful house overlooking, I don't know if you saw the article. There's an article in the RJ. It was a front page article about me in December, and it says, "Pia Zadora loves everything Christmas." And it has my picture and the Christmas tree. And Jordan, my son, the one I told you about who goes to UNLV, he's dressed up in his Santa suit. He comes up on stage and he does Santa, and he used to do Donald Trump until the Trump thing got a little ugly. And so he doesn't do Donald Trump anymore. And, we just have fun. We have a party, just enjoying our lives. And there's a huge acceptance. People just have fun enjoying everything that we do, bringing back all the old stuff and singing all the old stuff and showing all the old clips and drinking my Piatinis. What more? What more could I want at this point in my life?
So what about your husband and you? What makes you two a great match?
Well, what makes us a great match is that, oh my God, he's a Nebraska Cornhusker. He's this big, he looks like Alec Baldwin, and he talks really slow. He's very methodical, and I'm like all over the place. I have ADD and all that kind of stuff. So he has my back. He slows me down, But the thing that I love most about him is that he's real and he really cares. Because in my situation, that's a tough thing to find. And we've had our ups and downs. He adopted, like my son that I told you about, his dad got killed in a car accident 4 years ago. And he was devastated. And he asked Michael to adopt him. Michael is my husband's name. And he's the father that my kids never had. He's just an amazing, sweet, honest, pure, a little fucked up. Sorry.
It's okay.
Radio, so go back and finish your coffee. He just walked in and he heard me say that. But he's just a really good guy. He's solid. What can I tell you? He's solid. He's not perfect. I got to whip him into shape and keeps on his toes because I'm really bossy and all that stuff. But we adore him and we all are on the same page and we love each other. And isn't that what counts?
Oh, yeah. And what's the best thing about being a mother?
You know what? I can't even tell you the joy that this kid, my third kid with special needs, has given me. Because, first of all, I think it's timing that I was, I stopped everything to be there with him. And he's just special in his thinking and his emotional attachments. And I think he realizes what I've put into him. And, I was just honored here at the Grant a Gift Autism Foundation. I was the ambassador of autism here. And he came on stage with me and made a big speech and I sang. And it was a big deal. And he understood that it was all about him and my passion for him and for everything him and for his success and for the focus program that he's in at UNLV, which is a special program that I did a fundraiser for last year with all my friends, with Marty Allen and Carrot Top and Rich Little and all those people. We all got together for this special program for special kids. And he's become a local celebrity as a result. And every day, when I drop him off, sometimes he takes me, he's independent, but when I drop him in the car, as he's in the car sitting next to me, every day I get, I love you, Mom. I love you, Mom. And that just, it kills me, but it makes my life. But the thing about kids is, when you're young, have kids, you bring them into life and have to face situations that are not always great, health-wise, emotional-wise, and all that. I'm not sure that, it's all that great. I think people should think twice. They have to be ready to support and ready to handle. I wouldn't take it back in a sec, for a minute, but it's hard. Life is hard.
That's the truth.
And my daughter, she sings and all that. But I guess she thought that it would just be because when she was little, she was 4 years old singing Little Mermaid, had perfect pitch. She opened Disneyland. She would sing with me in front of all the symphonies. Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? And she was the cutest thing ever. And now she's trying to make it on her own. She's, working hard and doing a good job. But hey, I guess she thought she would just fall into my shoes. And it just freaking doesn't happen that way.
Yeah. Very true. Amongst the performers that you would think of as Las Vegas entertainers, you talking about a few of them made me wonder, out there for you all, is it kind of like a fraternity?
It is. It's a very, very small community. And we all, we see each other on a regular basis, at least once a week or every 2 weeks at events and all this stuff, because it's a very small community. We're all very supportive. And that's what's so great about it. I'm back on the boards and I'm in there in the mix. And I can have my life in a beautiful house and the beautiful mountains and all that stuff. And it's all good. It is a very small community.
There's a photo on your website, and I want to point everybody to piazadora.com. And there's a photo of you with Wayne Newton. What is Wayne like?
You know what? It's so funny. He won an award last year, the Silver State Entertainment Pioneer Award, and I won it this year. And I said to him, I'm getting your award this year. Because I see him at Pia's place all the time, at Pia's all the time, and at his place. And it's just, I said, well, we have a lot in common because both of us started as child stars. We both wear Bob Mackie. And none of us have ever had any work done. So, I mean, it's perfect. We have fun. We just have he just lost a lot of weight. He looks fabulous. He was sick, but he lost a lot of weight, and now he's healthy and skinny, and he's performing, and we go to each other's shows, and it's like you said, it's like a fraternity. I used to open for him.
Oh, yeah.
And there were so many other people that I used to open for Bobby Vinton and for John Rivers at Caesars, for George Burns, for Charles Aznavour, and, all those people. But
wow.
A lot of them are not working anymore. But Wayne and all those guys are still here. Don, unfortunately, has gone, up above us to look down on us and make more fun of us. But, and Frank too. But Tony's still there. He's still hanging in. And it's life. We come and go. Very transient.
When you said the name of the person who'd gone up above, it cut out right then. What was the name?
Don Rickles.
Oh, Don Rickles. Okay.
Yeah. And Joan too. I mean, I opened for her at Caesar's Palace the night that Edgar committed suicide, and my father was dying in Boston in hospital, and we both were falling apart, holding each other, and she was very emotional. All those guys like Don Rickles, who everybody thinks they're such hard asses, pardon my French, they weren't. They were exactly the opposite. And that's why they put on that front, to cover up their vulnerability. See, me, I don't try to do that. I say, frick it.
Well, who is the kindest person you've encountered in the world of entertainment, show business?
Wow, that's a tough question because the people that you encounter, you don't really get to spend enough time with to. But I have to say, even though Frank was kind of into his own little thing and would be in his bubble of vision of his shows and all that, he cared a lot about his fans. And there was one woman that Vinny told this story. Vinny and I used to appear a lot on shows talking about him. And Vinny told the story where this woman didn't have enough money, was a big fan. She was disabled. She couldn't walk, needed a wheelchair. So, he sent someone to her house with a wheelchair, had her brought backstage, gave her a front row ticket. And, that's important because that probably made that woman's life. So I would say he was pretty kind. I don't know if he was the kindest because you don't get to know people on that level. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he was pretty kind.
Well, on that note, when it comes to your fans, let's say that you've done a show or you're taking a little break. What's the nicest thing that somebody said to you when they said, Pia, can I talk to you for just a minute?
Well, you know what? The people that come to Pia's place are, first of all, they're very, they're fans. If they come there, they're fans. They're not coming there to heckle me. So they just love the way I've been a survivor and hung in there and just done what I've done, been strong, the strength. I guess that is impressive because, hey, we all need strength in life, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because we all go through a lot of crap. And if we don't have the strength, we drop by the wayside. I think a lot of that is that, and how you've kept, you look great, you really look great and all that stuff. And so that's a good thing too. And that I sound better than I've sounded. And you'll hear when you hear the new CD, that it's just a very cool, laid back, kind of more evolved vibe.
What about when a fan gets too forward? What do you do?
Security. the PS Place is kind of like a bar. And sometimes people will just have one too many, one teeny too many, because they don't realize that. I mean, you could eat there also. It's a club, but you have one too many and fall off the chair and get the stretcher and carry you out. But it's life. It's just life. It's fine. We deal with it. We love them. They come back. It's all good because we all have our moments. I've had my moments.
Very true.
I remember I was telling somebody the story of when Frank and Don and I, Frank and I were doing the New Year's show at the Riviera, and we were doing one show downstairs and then the second show up on the top floor after the post New Year's show on the roof. And we got stuck in the elevator. And there was Jilly, right? He's smoking. So we were stuck in the elevator. Jilly was puffing away at his cigarette, sweating bullets, saying, "What if we get stuck here? What if we don't get out? What if we starve?" And I'm like, 30 seconds, he's already thinking of cannibalism. And, Frank was very composed. It was all good. And we went out. We just walked out like nothing happened. We did our New Year's show.
This was one of the questions that Johnny Pizza had presented to me. He said, ask her how they did the New Year's show.
Oh, wow. That's funny. I think was he there?
He was.
Wow. How is Johnny?
Oh, he's doing well. He's running the Hoboken Cafe in Marietta, Georgia. The best mozzarella cheese you can get.
Oh, sounds good to me. I love mozzarella.
What are your memories of Tino Barzi, your former manager?
Tino was just a hoot. He was a hoot. He had a great sense of humor. He was a former ball player. He was a relief pitcher for the Boston Red Sox.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was very connected, and then he was with Tommy Dorsey. He was a band boy, and then he ended up managing Frank Jr. and everything. But he was just a very sweet, fun guy. Loved him. It's always good to have an upbeat sense of humor and have fun and all that stuff. And he always kind of, made lemonade out of lemons, which was fun.
What is the best advice you would give to someone who is facing difficulty of any kind?
Well, interesting you say that because got a lot of friends facing difficulties, and we all say the same thing. You just got to forge ahead and deal with it, not let it get you down, and just got to do it. Get through it. Get through it. Be positive. Get through it, and whatever happens will happen. Give up the control.
What is the best thing about being Pia Zadora?
Oh, no. Yeah, you're getting ugly. The best thing about being Pia Zadora, I don't know, who is Pia Zadora? Every once in a while I forget, and people go, I was doing a show the other night with Frankie Shinta. I don't know if you know the Shintas. The Shintas have shows here for years, and they're like, the classic Vegas entertainers. He's adorable, funny, and they travel around the country too doing their shows. They're from Buffalo. So Frankie is this Italian, like real Sinatra-ish kind of guy, but younger. And he came to see my show, and I'm like, Frankie, I have laryngitis. Could you please, help me here? Because I had a bad cold and lost my voice. He goes, hell, don't worry about it. What do you care? You're Pia Zadora. I don't know. I wish I did. I wish we all knew more about ourselves and who we are. But I guess eventually it gets there either way.
So how would you define Pia Zadora?
I don't know. I have this. Okay, so there's some aspect of my personality that blocks things out. I'm kind of like a horse with blinders, where I'm not going to let certain stuff affect me, or it just doesn't affect me. And I've been able to deal with a lot more than I ever imagined that I could, because it's just who I am. You just get through it.
I want to call everyone's attention again to the website. It's piazadora.com. Everyone be looking out for this forthcoming album of yours. And in closing, I just want to give you the stage. I want to give you the microphone. For anyone who's listening in, you can say whatever you want. What would you say to the audience?
Oh, come on. I say whatever I want 24/7. This is not special for me. But I'm just saying I love New York, love, New Jersey, love the air that we breathe, love the outside, Las Vegas, love singing, and we all need to just be who we are and enjoy what we have. Sounds a little religious, but what the hell.
I liked it. Well, I hope I'm lucky enough someday soon to see this show of yours at Pia's place.
Yeah, me too. You got to come out, hang out with us.
Thank you very much for spending time with us.
All right. Thank you, Paul.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the great Pia Zadora. Thank you so much.
All right. You take care.
All right. Till next time.
The Paul Leslie Hour is hosted, produced, and written by Paul Leslie for Lifestyles Entertainment. For information, visit thepaulleslie.com. Thank you for being with us. Until next time.